Aloha and welcome to the Stacia Kennedy Show, Episode 7, Niche Blogging with Levi Scott. Welcome to the Stacia Kennedy Show. We're just at the top of the hour. I'm super excited. Today's guest, sometimes we have little hiccups here and there. It's totally cool. But I think what's awesome about us entrepreneurs is we never give up and we just keep going. So
even when Facebook's not working.
Exactly. Facebook can do funny stuff. It's a software like anything else. Nobody's perfect, not even softwares. But in today's interview, I want to bring you today Levi Scott. He is going to be talking to you guys, or we're going to be talking about niche blogging. And he's actually an expert in niche blogging. So welcome to the show, Levi.
So glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Stacia.
Thanks. So there's a lot to this guy, Levi. He actually interviewed me and I was like, I need to interview you too, because there's a lot to this guy, Levi Scott. Tell everyone how awesome you are.
You are buttering me up way too much. So my awesome meter is at probably like a 30 and Stacia's way above me in awesomeness, but I really appreciate that compliment. So I have a pretty extensive story for sure. I'll just start from the very beginning. I got out of high school and joined the military. And I had a pretty extensive history of concussions because I played football throughout my high school career. I loved academics, but I loved knocking my brain off of kids a little bit more than I actually got another head injury during that. And so while I was doing the military thing, I was actually training to be a combat medic, and I was a paramedic for my ambulance service back home. So I did that for about 2 years, and then one day everything started catching up with me as far as a lot of the emotional struggles that come with that type of job. And I had a girlfriend at the time for quite a long time. We were on and off for like 8 years, and all at once everything started like unraveling. That was about the same time I got the head injury in the military, and she cheated on me. And then there was a couple incidents with the ambulance service involving some kids. So that stuff was always really, really hard to see and deal with. And I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna uproot my life, and I moved from Oshkosh, Wisconsin to Orlando, Florida. And I got really, really heavily into fitness, which was a big part of my life for a long time. And I started my first business was a personal training studio out of actually my apartment complex gym in my apartment, which was pretty cool because I didn't want to split the profits from my clients with the local gym that I was working with. It was a 50-50 split. And I said, well, you know what, I would rather just keep all of it myself. So why don't I just take these people back to my apartment complex, and I can literally just roll out of bed, have some coffee, and go to work downstairs. So it was pretty cool. But it wasn't as fulfilling as what I felt I was meant to do. So at the time, there was this clothing brand that I was really into called Flag Nor Fail by this guy who was also really into fitness named Rob Bailey. And I remember meeting Rob one time, and he was in Orlando for a fitness expo. So he was at the gym that I worked out at, and I got to kind of do a little workout with him, and he talked to me about life and pursuing your full potential. And that's when it kind of clicked in my head that I didn't really feel like I was fulfilling my full potential. So that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to Wisconsin. I'm going to go to school for graphic design, and I'm going to start my own clothing brand. And that's what I did. I went back to Wisconsin, and I started working on graphic designing my own graphics for a t-shirt line. I learned how to cut and sew and screen print, and I put everything together in regards to that. And while I was doing that, I was actually starting to work on affiliate marketing as well. At the time, it was a little bit easier, I think, because I admittedly got really, really into the black hat side of SEO. So it was all like crazy link structure to power, any site that I wanted. And it was a lot easier to make money at the time. And then all the different animals started coming out of the zoo that is Google. And so I kind of grew those two things in tandem. I grew my clothing line, which I'm now out in Las Vegas. I have actually two clothing companies now out here, and my own digital marketing agency. So kind of like we did with our own interview, we talked a lot about different things involving affiliate marketing, and that's kind of a big part of what I do now.
Awesome. So how did you get into niche blogging though while you were doing this? You're going to school, which we have actually, I don't know if you know that, I have a degree in graphic design, but I don't even use it. So I actually like to outsource my graphic design.
No, yeah, it was funny when you mentioned that during our last interview, because I was like, oh my God, yeah, I went to school for graphic design too, and I'm like, I don't even use this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think there's so many people who are way better than me, and could get it done fast, which is something that you can probably talk about, outsourcing the niche blogging concept that you have as well too. But how did it all started? Like, were you online Googling affiliate marketing? Like what got you into while you're going to school, doing this thing, pursuing your passion? You're like, I got to make some money while I'm doing it. Right.
Exactly. And that's what it really boiled down to, is I started realizing how expensive fashion was. So I needed to figure out a way to make money, and also have some free time to do what I actually wanted to do. And at the time it was kind of a pipe dream, because I didn't know if it was really possible until I actually met somebody from Wisconsin who was making just tons and tons of money online through actually ranking businesses in Google Maps. And to me, that was extremely foreign, because at the time I wasn't really into anything on the internet. I didn't really have any type of background in that. So when I heard about this, I was like, well, how on earth would you make money doing anything involving Google Maps? Like, Google Maps is just like, it usually just gets me from A to B, right? But what's really cool about it is actually, and I still do this with a couple of my clients here in Las Vegas, is if you can, let's say for instance, if you are looking for a restaurant recommendation, what a lot of people will do is they'll just type in, let's say like if you're in Las Vegas, you don't know where to eat, you'll just type in like restaurants nearby. And what will happen is probably like the highest rated or most talked about, or or even just vicinity wise, something that's close by will be like one of the top 3 that are going to pop up. And what some companies and some people figured out how to do is kind of like play within the Google algorithm to get certain businesses to the top of those lists. And what ended up happening is people would start getting increased call volume, increased leads, increased appointments, increased customers through these SEO gurus, or they're just basically hacking into getting businesses to the top of these search results. So my friend back in Wisconsin, he kind of taught me the ins and outs of this. And he actually was really, really into the whole black hat side of SEO as well. And he recommended to me, he was like, so if you really want to start making some money and doing what I do and getting some of these small businesses to the top of these search results, where they'll pay you anywhere from like $500 to $2,000 a month to do this, depending on what the niche is, you can actually make a good bit of money while you're pursuing fashion. So I started working on this, and what he recommended was start link building, because you're going to need to plug some really nice links into these businesses' websites, and it'll naturally help get them to a higher point in Google's ranking system. So that's what I started doing. I started developing my own, what I call a private blog network, which I'm sure some other people are pretty familiar with. Is basically just a big mass of your own websites that are built for the sole purpose of ranking one particular money site. And then all of the that's when the zoo opened up, and all of the different animals started coming out of Google, and all of these updates started happening, and it was a lot harder then to rank a business, because you couldn't just solely rank a business based on the number of links you had. So I was sitting there with all these backlinks and all these websites, and I was like, well, a lot of SEO people, their private blog networks are getting shut down because Google's catching on now. They understand like this isn't going to work, and it's kind of cheating the system. So I didn't want to just kind of let all of that go, because I had so much money invested in this massive private blog network. So what I ended up doing was starting to switch my private blog network over to more of an affiliate network, where I was actually updating these websites with content related to the topic of the blog itself. And because they were powerful websites, they were already generating a good bit of traffic to them. And I started actually selling a lot of products through like Amazon.com was the big one. And that's when I started realizing, okay, like there's more to this than just having these websites for a blog network to power one website, when I could just use all of these blogs and make money off of them. So that's kind of how that came about.
Yeah, wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would this friend be? Can I mention? Can I guess? Is it Paul James?
It is Paul James.
Ah!
Yeah. That's cool that you know him.
So yeah, I learned from him too.
I didn't know he was such a big deal until I started seeing some of his YouTube videos. I was like, oh my God, this kid's got like 50,000 views on one video. So yeah,
yeah, literally he's like a kid. I think he's probably in his late 20s now, but he does sound like a kid. Like, he's still like talking.
Yeah. That was the craziest part was like I thought when I first came across him, I was like, wow, he's like 20 years old maybe. Yeah, he sounds like a kid. He sounds like he's just like this little guy just.
Yeah. He sounds like he's 18.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I loved his training. I went through the same thing too. And yeah, it was probably a lot easier back when he started. When you started, you had the top 7 pack, and now it's the top 3 pack when you search for a business. And we're always doing some kind of Googling something like, where is the nearest Chinese food, or where is the best place to go for, this kind of product or service. That's so awesome. So you're definitely an expert, you guys. So how many, you have like over 26 of these blogs then?
Yeah, I'm at 27.
Wow. Awesome. So let me get some advice. So would you say if someone wanted to get started, it would be a lot harder, or what would be the steps that someone would want to, try to do this? Like, is it like too saturated, or I know that a lot of the beginners are probably asking this. So
yeah. So that's a good question, actually. And what I've started recommending is actually to help boost these things. If you went through Paul James training, you probably know a little bit about, like, I use crowdsourcing quite a bit. Have you ever used that?
No, I haven't, and it's been a while.
So I'll kind of break it down. Well, first and foremost, to go about creating one of your own niche blogs, I actually do have a free course for basically every step that you need to go about creating not just a niche blog, but just a website in general. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely check that out. It's pretty helpful for setting something like this up. But yeah, I think as far as putting together your own niche blog, it's definitely a saturated thing now. But at the same time, I mean, once you start getting into like sub niches, there's always new up and coming things, right? Like ClickFunnels just got really big over the last couple of years. Cryptocurrency got really big over the last year. So there's always new things. And if you can create a website and kind of like ride that wave while it's fresh and while it's big, you can still definitely like become an authority website for these things, and you can definitely cash in on it.
Where can people go? What's the website?
Yeah, so it'll be leadcreek.com, and you'll actually see in the banner right at the top, there's a book that says Affiliate Marketing Crash Course. It's kind of scrolling across. And yeah, you can just click that and you can dive right in pretty much. And I actually am finishing up a follow-up course to that right now called Virtual Assistant Affiliate Automation. I know that's a mouthful, but that's kind of how I really scaled, because I figured out that pretty quickly, like, I can't control like the updating process of all of these different websites. There's just too many, and I'll have to like constantly update. So now like all those blogs are pretty much run by my virtual assistant, so I'm pretty much hands-free with it at this point, which is kind of cool.
Awesome. So do you probably have someone who's really good at writing, the WordPress stuff? Like, do you have a certain person that handles different sites, or like, do you have someone who's, very good at certain things, or how do you choose your virtual assistant?
Yeah. So that was kind of a learning curve for me as well when I first got into this, because I didn't know exactly how to go about it. I figured I need somebody who can write, and I need somebody who can probably update websites pretty consistently and make them, do what I need them to do. And I kind of followed that, and it took me to what I have now, which is just one person who's really, really good at writing. And then I have one person who's really good at updating websites and constantly like making things look better and prettier and SEO, blah, blah, blah. So even with the 27 websites that I have, it can pretty much be run by one small team. So it kind of cuts down the costs. Like, I don't want to, like, this massive team spending thousands of dollars a month on virtual assistants when, you don't really need too much. So actually within the virtual assistant affiliate automation course that I'm writing right now, I kind of break that down as well, as far as what exactly you need to really make that happen. So yeah, the virtual assistant I have who does the writing, she's really good at like content writing and kind of including some of these long tail keywords, which she finds all herself through my system that I have set up. I kind of break all of that stuff down in my own course. It was definitely a learning process. There was definitely a lot of mistakes along the way, but once you figure it out, it's a system like anything else. And I always tell people, if you want to do it, you can definitely do it, whether it's niche blogging or affiliate marketing through some other channel. As long as you have a good system in place, you can definitely scale it. Look at McDonald's has this business full of, like 15, 16-year-old kids who haven't graduated high school, and they're running it, and they're making billions of dollars selling $1 items. And they can do that so successfully because they have a perfect system in place.
Yeah, I'm finding that for myself, like as an entrepreneur, this could be, in affiliate marketing or any other business, that writing out the steps takes time, but because only you know how you want things. And then right now I'm in this systems process where I'm like, okay, you need to just make some time, even though it takes more time out of your time, but in the end, you're going to be leveraging other people and they will have the exact process that you want them to follow.
Yes.
So if you just take an hour or two a week just to write out the processes, and then you're able to like leverage the, other people's time so that you can focus on the $500 an hour tasks rather than the $5 an hour task or $10 an hour tasks.
Yep, absolutely. And that was the biggest positive out of bringing on the virtual assistants, was not worrying so much about, trying to handle every little detail. It was definitely a game changer for me. And writing your system out and getting everything on paper and kind of mapping your future successes is so helpful. I don't know how many people out there, I think we might have talked about it a little bit, like writing things down on like a whiteboard and using a calendar and kind of setting a schedule for yourself to accomplish just the little things that are going to lead to the bigger things. So helpful. For me, it always started with, I just started, like at the beginning of this year, I started doing it, making my bed in the morning. It puts you in this mindset of like completing tasks, because you completed one task at the very beginning of the day. You kind of like throughout your day, you like have this mindset of like completion. So it's really cool and it's really helpful. So make your damn beds.
Yeah, make your bed. Get a list that you can check off things. Awesome.
Yes.
So this is kind of a question for myself. I have tons of websites. My husband and I were like, we need to like stop buying domain names. But I feel like we have almost like a private blog network. So for those who don't know what a private blog network is, basically a bunch of different sites you own. And I guess my question is, how can I organize myself? I have all these domains, and maybe it'd be a great idea for me to go in there and, put more posts regularly. And then my husband had a great idea, and he's pretty good at it, at like just being able to link everything together. And I've gone through, Paul James's training before, where we, basically silos and we connect everything. So there's that money site, like you said.
Yeah.
But what do you think, like I guess, where do you think my next steps should be to like make those profitable? Because I feel like I'm sitting on a bunch of different sites that I could be doing something with.
Yeah. Okay. So, God, I wish I could turn my camera right now. I'm like locked into this little space, but I actually, just to the left of me, I actually have kind of what you were just talking about. I have this massive map of all of my websites, and it's all kind of organized into what I have and what I have going on and kind of how I wanted to, I don't know, put things together. And that's probably step one, is just map it all out. Like write down all of your websites, write down what the niche is for it. And then what you can actually do is, here's the cool thing I figured out about these websites is once you start updating them consistently, they kind of aren't really a private blog network anymore. Now they're just websites that are, you just have a bunch of them, right? So you can do what you want and you can link them how you want. And what I actually started doing was linking all of my websites together to basically use the link juice. I'm sure you're familiar with that word. To use the link juice from one website to the next website and kind of like bouncing it all over the place. And I think that's kind of like more in depth than just starting this like you asked. But I would say the first step for this would probably start hosting them, right? So that's like step two of actually my affiliate marketing crash course for this, as far as the niche blogs, is just get them hosted. I actually use something called, I think it's Web Talk, and then you can go to shared hosting. Mm-hmm. And it's a website. And it'll give you this list of like all these different companies that are offering hosting for like just a couple dollars a month, which is really nice because when you have a ton of these websites, you don't want to spend like $10 a month like some of these better hosting packages offer.
So you want their own, right?
Exactly. And you know what? The more I thought about it, quite honestly, I don't really think you need to do that, because I got into that under Paul's guidance that you want them all under their own hosting plan, so Google doesn't find out that you have this private blog network. But then, you know, the more I started doing what I'm doing now, I realized, okay, I don't have a private blog network. I just have basically a massive affiliate network of websites. So, you know, it really depends how you want to play it. If you want to play it safe, I guess do it on each one's own shared hosting plan for a couple dollars, you know, every year. Quite honestly, like some of mine, I have one hosting plan that's set for like 3 years for like $10. So they're really not that much.
Mm-hmm. Because I have 2 different hosting, but I wasn't sure a big difference.
Yeah, as far as like speed and things like that and ranking.
Well, as far as like having all. Sorry, I'm the echoes again.
No, I heard that too. It's so hard to focus on what you're saying when all you hear is your own voice.
I know. So I had a HostGator, and then I got frustrated with them. So I'm like trying to move some of them off of HostGator, and I have like SiteGround, but they're both you know, shared hosting plans. Should you have a more complex or like private hosting plan than those type of services?
I don't think it. I know I've heard a lot about ranking as far as the speed of the host and load times and this and that, but I mean, a lot of these hosts that I've had are ones you've never heard of. Mm-hmm. They're tiny, and those are the ones that are going to be really cheap because they're more unknown. And quite honestly, somebody might be able to jump in who's watching this and kind of fill in what the pieces I'm missing, because I know I am missing pieces here, but I haven't had any issues. I mean, some of these cheaper hosting plans, it hasn't made any difference. I mean, they all have cPanel, they all have everything that I need to update them consistently, and yeah.
And this is a question I always kind of wonder. I read somewhere that PR rank doesn't matter, or they don't go by that anymore. Is that true, or do you still look at that? Or
PR rank, what's that?
Yeah, the PR. So I guess it doesn't matter because if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, so, it must not matter anymore, right?
Google used to have like a PR rank of what the website ranked, but now they like kind of got rid of it. So I guess they completely got rid of it if you don't.
There is like maybe this is a little bit different. Maybe this is how it's more ranked now. It's like like DA. So like domain authority, and PA would be like page authority. Those are definitely still big time ranking factors. So for instance, and I break this down pretty in depth in the crash course, but when I go about picking up a domain, so this would actually, if I can bounce back to when you asked what kind of one of the first steps would be when setting one of these up, the very first step I do is I actually have a program called Majestic. Majestic.com is like the coolest software on the internet. So basically what it does is you can type in a website and it'll tell you everything about the history of that website. It'll tell you the domain authority, the page authority, the keywords associated with that website, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on and on. So what I'll do is I'll actually jump onto like GoDaddy auctions or Snap Names or NameJet auction sites that are auctioning domains that have expired. And what you can actually do on those websites is pick up really, really good domains that are expiring because for whatever reason, the owner didn't renew. And what you can do then is, let's say, for instance, you see a name that you like. You can plug it into Majestic and you can see just really what's going on with it, what the domain authority is. And I've gotten actually quite a few good ones using a tool called registercompass.com. Registercompass.com and majestic.com are both paid services. But what registercompass.com does actually is it allows you to see the domain authority and the page authority and the MAS page and domain authorities and the trust flows and all of these different terms. You can see all of it, so you know just exactly how good it is. Because when a website, or excuse me, a domain has a really good domain authority, it's going to be pulling more traffic. See, what domain authority really means is there's a lot of websites or domains or excuse me, links that are pointing towards it. Like over the lifetime of this domain, it's just built up a really good reputation. Okay, so a lot of links are pointing towards it. People talked about it quite a bit. And what you can end up doing with that website then is turning it into your own niche blog. And that's kind of the first step that I do in taking a web or a domain and turning it into something special that I can actually use it for.
Nice. Yeah. So speaking of niches, is there like a top 5 niche area that you like to, or you think that's highly profitable?
Yeah. So those would be anything along the lines of like, what are those called? The evergreen niches. It's going to be like romance or dating. I think actually that's kind of broken down too in Russell Brunson's book where he talks about those a little bit. And yeah, those are also very saturated though. I forget exactly what the health, wealth, and romance. I think that's the 3. Those are like the most profitable over time. Like they've always stayed very stable, but they're also very saturated. So that's kind of the cool thing about long-tail niches. Long-tail niches associated with long-tail keywords are niches that are more selected. So for instance, like if you have fitness, that would be like a very broad keyword, right? That's the big ocean.
Right.
But then you can break that down further into like indoor cycling for men, something that's really, really, really defined and specific. And actually what I found is the further you niche down and the more selective you go with these things, the more ready to buy somebody also is, because those people who are finding your website, they're finding it because they're not just searching for fitness, they're searching for indoor men's cycling products. You know what I mean? So from there, you can actually capitalize a little easier as well. I use a software called Longtail Keywords, Longtail Keyword Pro, I think it's called actually. And it helps you discover what some of those long tail keywords are that people are searching for that are really, really profitable. So I use that a lot. And then I have my content writer, virtual assistant. She kind of includes those keywords in the articles she writes.
Awesome. How much, what is the average?
I'm sorry, Stacia, I didn't hear that.
Okay. How much do you make from your website, your blogs? Can I ask what the average profit that you make from these niche
It's generally around $3,000 to $4,000 a month. It's
per
and what I've
website?
started total. I
Oh.
wish per website that'd be
Okay.
amazing. But I never messed with paid traffic or paid advertising either, and that's something I'm actually starting to do now. What I've realized just over the course of doing my own interviews with you and some other really cool entrepreneurs is that there's obviously like a ton that I don't know about the internet still, and I just recently did an interview with Dale Hensel, and he talked a lot about paid traffic and paid advertising. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start playing with that a little bit. And I'm actually pretty excited to see just how, profitable that can be. If I can make $3,000 or $4,000 a month with no paid traffic and just kind of going off of keyword research and SEO, let's see what happens now when I actually drive traffic to these websites. So details to come.
Nice. So what was my next question? This is good stuff.
Good stuff.
So good. What this is my question. What I got so excited when I was like, and I know that maybe, I don't know if this happened to you, but I got so excited and I want to do like 10 different niches and like, and then of course you get burnt out and you're like, oh, nothing's working because my focus was just way too many different sites. Like, what is your suggestion when someone gets started? Like, do you start on one and then wait till it like starts making a certain amount before you go to the next? Or did you have a couple of sites, or how did you handle that?
Absolutely focus on one when you're first starting. You want to see any type of victory in the beginning, even if it's small. Like, even if you start one website for the sole purpose of starting that website to have it be like you have like a company and you want a website for it, or you have this idea for your own company and you want that to be the website. I think niche blogging becomes kind of a side project in itself when you start having like lots of interests. And that's kind of me, is like I have a lot of different interests in my life. I mean, just kind of going back to my story, I've done like 50 different things. So I wanted to kind of play with different topics and, expand on my own ideas and thought processes and build on what I already had. So, but it all started with one. So you just start with one and build it up and see where it goes. Definitely start with one though.
Definitely.
And don't get frustrated if you don't see money rolling in right away. Chances are you won't. Like, everything is a slow process. Like, think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's going to start really small. It's going to go really slow, but then gravity takes effect and the ball gets bigger. The snowball gets bigger and bigger and goes faster and faster. So it's slow in the beginning and then it gets faster as you grow.
Yes. And especially if you're using, there's all kinds of different affiliate products out there, but if you're using something like Amazon, and different products, which you can get a variation of different products from Amazon and use those links, but the percentage is going to be a lot lower than promoting maybe a software or a course that has reoccurring income from, rather than a one-time sale. So those are things to think about. And then one of my last questions, I was wondering, like, so I came across one of the mistakes I made was I was putting in my affiliate link to Amazon, but then I wasn't making that enough for Amazon. Just decided to switch their affiliate program or whatever. And so all my links that were out there, I couldn't track them back and they were all no good. Like, do you use some kind of link cloaking thing or something when you use on your affiliate? Because I could have easily have just changed the links if I had some kind of program for that.
Do you mean as far as okay, so you're saying like the links themselves actually changed. So you had all these links out that weren't.
Yeah, I was so mad. Affiliate, like Amazon, like quit their program, or I missed the email that says if you don't respond, then we're going to turn off your affiliate program. And I'm like, oh.
I actually never got that. So that sounds absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
No, I never got that. Wow, that's.
So it was something to think about. So now every time I try to cloak my links now with I was using Pretty Link, but I just wasn't using it on everything. But now I've kind of advanced my skills with Click Magic, so I can do a lot more tracking. But if something ever happened like that, then I could just change out the link that it actually goes to.
Right. Yeah. And I've ever since actually I talked with Rachel Lee, she actually mentioned Click Magic as well, because I hadn't been using anything like that. I mean, quite honestly, like I wouldn't even try to change my link itself really in any way at all. Actually, I wanted people to know that what they were clicking was an affiliate link. And like a lot of my websites, I'll even like put my face on it. So like people know, like, look, this is legitimate. It's not just to make money. Like, you know, I think in 2018, honesty is always the best policy. So I never try to like sneak by somebody's like, you know, obviously people are smart, versus earlier on years ago, it was actually kind of encouraged to hide the links. So like you would like want to change your link, instead of like actually showing off like the affiliate link, you would want to change it so it would just say like Nike shoes or whatever the niche would be, you know what I mean? But yes, honesty first.
Good. Yeah, I had a friend, she does this still, and I was like, what? She actually just straight up in her, and this is, well, is different because she's emailing her list who know and like her already, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm on her list, and she sends me this link, like straight up, like the entire PayPal link, like, you know, for her services. And I'm like, you should probably have a button or a page like that it goes to, you know, all my fancy stuff. And she's like straight, like very low tech. She's like, no, I want them to know that they're clicking a PayPal link, like they're paying. Like, she's like, I wanted it that way. I was like, okay.
Well, and you know what's funny about that too, and she's kind of onto something there. So I got really, really into JVZoo. I love JVZoo products. They've taken like all of my money because I'm always buying JVZoo products. And then I actually affiliate for JVZoo as well. But what I started noticing is every time you buy a product and you get a message from the sender, they put you on their email, their drip campaigns immediately. So you start getting messages from all these different product creators. But what I noticed is they're all kind of just, there's nothing fancy about them. You know what I mean? It's just text. That's it. There's no pictures involved. And I think it works a little better. And I actually read an article about how those structured emails that have all the pictures in it and all these pretty links and all these, everything is like so structured, and you know it's a mass email. So when it's just the text and it's laid out a little bit more simplified, people are, I think, more likely to read it. I mean, I am. I don't know about other people, but definitely works. So I mean, as far as like throwing down your entire PayPal link like that, maybe a little overkill, but if it's working.
If it works, right? If it works. Well, I like what you said about just being honest and showing yourself. I think that's part of being a influencer brand that you and I and some of our friends that we network with have been very successful at, just sharing their knowledge with our communities, and getting on live streams, doing interviews, just being super helpful. The great thing about affiliate marketing or niche blogging, you can do that as well. Brand yourself as the expert in that specific niche or website that you decided to create. But you, at the same time, you can also create blogs where you're not the face. And a lot of people have come to me like, I want to make money, but I don't want to be the face. I don't want to be the brand. I don't want to do a video. So this is your opportunity to do something where you can create a website or and make money as an affiliate without even putting your face on it, right?
Yeah, yep. And it's, so the way I look at it too, it's like, it's almost like building a house. When you buy a website and you build it out and you continue to grow it, it starts as nothing, but then it becomes something. So you're creating a digital asset, right? Because it's always going to be there, and it's only going to get more and more valuable with time. I mean, look at the .com boom after the 90s. Like those websites, like, could you imagine buying like Amazon.com before it was ever bought up or before it was ever a thing? Or like, you know what I mean? Like these really broad term .coms were just worthless at the time because nobody really knew the power of them. So they've only gotten more valuable. And you can still pick up really, really good .com websites and domain names through some of these auctions for very cheap. And they're just going to get more valuable, especially because the age plays a factor in the ranking as well. So the older they are, it definitely plays a part.
Yes.
And yeah, you don't have to be the face of it at all. You really don't. Like, you can kind of be behind the scenes and, you know, doing what you want with it and making it what it is, and just build your digital assets. They're always going to be there. It's kind of the cool part about it.
And then you can leverage virtual assistants to run it for you. So if you want to learn more about that course from Levi, make sure to keep in touch with him, add him to your notifications as well, so you can get access to it, or even jump into his group. How can people stay in touch with you and get into your group and get notified about this stuff?
Do have a group. It is going to be Millennial Affiliate Entrepreneurs. Just type it into your Facebook search bar and it should be the first result.
Awesome.
It'll pop right up.
Awesome. Yes. I showed it earlier as well too. Kate, my friend Kay, said building sales funnels or systems is definitely an art. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it very much is. And building a system for anything, it seems, I don't know, it always is difficult at the start. But I'm actually really into, as far as systems go, I actually have something in the works right now for software that I'm building out. And I'm not personally building it out. I could never do that. But I have a team of software developers who are creating a pretty interesting software. I can't wait to show you personally, by the way. I think you're going to really
Awesome. Exciting.
More details to come.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Levi, for sharing with us. And thank you all entrepreneurs for watching in the audience. If you guys ever have any questions, make sure to comment in this thread. And I'm sure one of us will get to you as soon as possible. So again, I'm Stacia Kennedy, your hostess with Mostess. Thanks for joining us again with the Stacia Kennedy Show. You can find the show notes on the StaciaKennedy.com /EP. And this is episode 7. So it'll be EP07 that you can find the show notes later on. And thanks again. Much love and aloha. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.